Hello, everybody, and it's Attempts at Governance. This is episode 288. Welcome, everybody, back. We're live streaming Monday to Friday at 3 p.m. UTC. Thursdays, we're rocking AAG. Nice to have some familiar faces back on the panel here, and we're going to hear from them in just a minute. But we're going to start with the state of the Treasury, which is looking pretty good this week. We are unfortunately down 160,000 DOT, which is worth about $371,000 at today's market value. That brings the total DOT Treasury to 25.77 million DOT. We are up 110,000 USDT to 7.38 million and up 100,000 USDC to 4.21 million. Now, we also have some other interesting things happening. Wanted to point out child bounty number 230, and this is the marketing bounty returning their unused funds back to the Treasury. So 197.62 thousand DOT has been returned, and that's very close to their monthly payout of 200,000. They have another 200,000 DOT payout coming in a few days, I think 4 days. But I've heard that they're not going to send that back because just a day or so later, the whole bounty is going to be closed and it'll be automatically sent back anyway. So here's the return of funds from the marketing bounty there. And then over on Kusama, in case you're curious, we are up 8,800 KSM, which is worth about $76,500 at today's market value. KSM under $9 right now. That brings the stack to 656,000 KSM. That's the state of the Treasury. Hey, Limo, nice to have you here. But we've actually given the refs gone by to Tommy this week. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Tommy, take it away.
Okay, I hope I make Limo proud.
This is
This
big.
is refs gone by for Polkadot. So we had two refs this week. The first one was ref 1783 on the root track. This was the Polkadot People Initiative, incentives for mass Polkadot activation campaign for about $3 million to swap them to Holler and bring them over to the People chain, so that in the future, when the new Polkadot People Initiative is launching, that it is ready. That one passed with 160 million DOT in favor to 22 million DOT against. So pretty strong support also from the Referee Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And we had Rev 1797 on the whitelisted caller track. This one was Polkadot Asset Hub and Bridge Hub 2.0.3 runtime upgrade. So we are running into the Polkadot 2.0 series. And this one was mainly to update the hub so that the Snowbridge would stay compatible with Ethereum, which expects a hard fork on the 3rd of December, which was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And our upgrade ran through 2 days ago, so just in time. And it also relaxed some XCM permissions so that you can do more cool stuff with XCM on the system. And that's refs gone by.
Thank you very much, Tommy. Yes, congratulations to our friends at Ethereum for that hard fork upgrade. Very cool. I also saw Hyperbridge upgraded as well to accommodate, and yeah, that's fantastic. Both of these refs that you spoke about here with massive support from the Web3 Foundation. Remember last time we were talking about Polkadot People Initiative, POS.dog was leaning pretty heavily on the nay side here with something like 20 million votes. But then I saw Web3 Foundation came in and wiped this right through, 87.7%. Very, very cool. Thank you very much, Tommy. We'll now throw it over. Oh, Limo's got a quick comment. Oh, some feedback on refs gone by. Go ahead, Limo.
Yeah, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, about the parsnip stuff.
Yeah.
Like, seen a lot of comments from people that clearly haven't read the referendums or any information from like Gavin on interviews that you've done with him. Like stuff like, oh, what if I'm Muslim and can't get a tattoo, or what if my culture doesn't allow a tattoo?
Right.
Like people are missing the point a lot. It's just quite interesting to see like the information asymmetry, even though all the information is pretty much public. People should really review what's going on.
That's right. We're trying to be intelligent agents here, so it is important to review the material before coming in and distracting and wasting time. That's a very good point. Thank you, Limo, for that. All right, that's it for Refs Gone By. We are very, very blessed to have Funkatron back on the show. We're going to throw it to him for a little state of the funk.
The state of the funk, I could sum up with saying, Tango hambre. I am hungry. And what I am hungry for is not only breakfast, because now we have the new time, but I'm hungry for just a sense of peace. Because everything that seems to be happening in the Polkadot ecosystem, I'm a former high school teacher. My big thing has always been bringing people together, not creating division. I haven't even caught up on all the drama. I just know that things have been happening on the forum. Things have been happening on X. We don't need that. It's a distraction. The people who are here and committed to the success of the Polkadot ecosystem really need to band together and find a way forward, find a way to be productive, find a way to be positive. This is the only way that this ecosystem is going to succeed, with agents working together. So again, I don't know the details. I just know it's erupted in a big way, and I'm just hungry for change and something that's going to bring back positivity and productivity among all of us. Thanks, Jay.
Thank you very, very much, Funky. I think it's simmering down a little there. Tommy, live stream yesterday though, doubling down on this is censorship. Do you want to give us a little overview of your opinion there? The forums were moderated. You and Jeeper were live, saying this is not moderation, this is censorship. I think was the gist. You want to tell us anything about that?
Yeah, if you simplify it a lot, you could say that, but the debate is much more nuanced, I think. I think the first thing we have to say is the one that operates the forum has the rule to make the determination what is an acceptable debate or not in your house.
Yeah.
So I think that's true. Now, the forum is operated by parity, and so it's up to parity's determination of what debate they want to accept and not.
Right.
I guess it's mostly intended initially to have a technical debate. But what we do see is that in the past, we had governance-related discussions. There is a governance-related section in the forum. So it was reasonable to assume when you come to the forum, you see that the governance-related debate is acceptable, right? Now, in any forum, you can set up the rules of like how do you want debate? How do you want debates to happen, right? So if something is out of the bounds of that rules of the debate, you can close it down. I think that's the first legitimate reason. The second legitimate reason is if your moderators are overwhelmed, you say, like, even if it's a legitimate debate, but for some reason we're overwhelmed, we don't want to, we have to close it down. I think a few specific threads that we've been discussing in our live stream yesterday, the debate within that thread was within the bounds of what I consider to be a legitimate discussion. Might be uncomfortable, might not project a picture that some people want to have, but I think it's still a legitimate debate to have around OpenGov, around how to spend funds and how to have accountability and transparency. Now, people have different opinions on that, so that's what we can discuss. And then I think the question is, if you consider it to be out of bounds of, like, do you want to, let's say, enforce action against specific posts, against specific users, or a specific thread? I think it's not the best way to go forward against the whole thread when it could be achieved with a similar amount of time investment that you say we're going to moderate out a few individual posts, or we're going to like do smaller enforcement actions like reaching out to users and say, like either via DM or in the thread and say, hey, this kind of engagement is not acceptable. We would prefer if you would engage in this way. Yeah, you can send out warnings. So I think overall, I understand the nervousness of some people that like the debate is held in a way where it doesn't shine the best light. But at some point, you need to have the discussion around what kind of debates do we want to have in that forum, or if it's not acceptable in that forum, we need to have a different place where we can have that debate. And and then the right enforcement actions if it's not proper. I think that most of the debate was legitimate. Maybe people are stepping out of bounds in terms of how they're interacting with others. Then I would attack those dynamics, right, and say we prefer that, like a higher level of engagement. Yeah, I would say that's the gist.
Okay. So yeah, this is part of the debate here is what is acceptable in the forum, what sort of decorum and communication is productive and helpful, and what deserves to be moderated. Limo, what are you saying about this?
I would say that every public message board, even 4chan, has some level of moderation. And the acceptable level of speech varies per platform or per culture or per country. For example, in the UK, there's stuff you cannot say publicly on Twitter, whereas you can in the US, right? And they're countries that are very close to each other, but there's completely different levels of free speech that can be said. I would also say as long as minimum standards of discourse are applied fairly, depending on and not dependent on who it is or who the speech is against, then I'm like fine with it, right? And a lot of the time, a lot of this stuff can be solved non-publicly. I've gotten in trouble before from the Web3 Foundation for my public speech previously. It is not a brand new thing. It does happen in the Polkadot ecosystem. And I would say regarding the forum that alt accounts are an issue, the same as they are on Twitter. It's very obvious. A lot of these accounts are alt accounts. Not saying who, not implying they're anybody's, because I got accused of that as well. But prove a personhood, if you make it so that the person has to be an individual, does somewhat fix it. Obviously, you can pay somebody in a less economically developed country to pass the personhood thing for you, but it's still a nice barrier. And I think as long as discourse is constructive and not a witch hunt, then it's fine.
But you get to say it all over again,
Okay,
Limo,
we're
then.
back.
The TLDR is as long as the rules are applied fairly to everybody, then yeah, every platform, every society has some level of speech level that's acceptable. Like you can't just like, for example, like a politician in the US wouldn't just spam the N word on repeat when they're public, right? So obviously speech is not acceptable. So, but in the UK it's different. In Spain it's different. In Nigeria it's different, right? So we just need to know what the rules are and just apply them fairly.
Yeah. No, I know that you got moderated pretty heavily before, Limo.
Which was fair, by the way. Like I
Mhm.
get why, but that level of don't start public drama basically should be applied to other people as well. You know.
Right. Florentina, what do you think?
Yeah, I think my message is the same as last week. And my message last week was before the moderation actions on the forum happened on Friday. And I agree with Funky because basically we need to be productive. We need to make sure that we stop pointing fingers at each other. And I insist on that because I don't see how that is productive. Now, regarding the part about the word censorship, to be honest, when I first saw on Friday that all of those posts that have been closed were actually removed and we could no longer see them, the first word that came to my mind was indeed censorship. Because whether I agree or not with what some of those posters were asking, I think that everybody has the right to ask questions. Now, whether they ask them in a civilized manner or not, or whether they are trolling, that is a different matter, and that will eventually fall into the hands of moderation. But I think that it is very important, as I mentioned last week, to let the door open for people to express how they are seeing things and to ask questions if they want, as long as they're not accusing people without proofs or speaking aggressively or insulting people, of course. That I do not agree with.
Well, I saw that
Um,
even you were insulted in the forum there, Florentina, which I was
Well,
hated to see.
I don't know if it was an insult, but or a troll or whatever it was. But yes, of course, like I guess all of us here have at some point been, yeah, as you say, insulted or trolled or whatever on the forum. But that's not the point. I don't think, like, again, I think that's like, again, pointing fingers at one person, or like, or at, because that person pointing fingers at me, or me pointing fingers at that person for talking about me. I think it's pointless. Why are we wasting our time with this? Let's just focus on actually finding constructive things to move forward as an ecosystem and as a project, instead of focusing on pinpointing each other. That's how I see it.
Yeah, yeah. No, the baseless accusations, saying things that aren't true, all of this stuff, I really don't understand why it's on the forum. And I was really surprised to see major people in the forum like giving positive reinforcement to pure lies, completely baseless accusations. I just didn't understand why that was happening. And it definitely raised the whole temperature, and then it destroyed the whole conversation. Because the marketing bounty conversation started off great. It was just pure facts. And then the same person who started it started giving positive feedback to people who were saying pure lies. And it emboldened them, and it got out of control. It was totally crazy and horrible to see. Limo.
So my opinion on this is one of these things similar to, like, to use the US politics. You're never going to have like really left-wing Democrats agree with like the Trump MAGA people on like everything, right? Funky's leaving, he knows US politics is coming, but like it's a fool's errand to try and convince the other side. Like, you can get your point across to try and convince people in the middle, but you're never going to convince everyone on a lot of these things, especially when it comes to moderation and free speech. I think the way forward is just some level of rules regarding like acceptable speech and then the personal stuff, right? Because again, there are clearly acceptable levels of speech based on moderation I've had happen to me, which is fair enough. I was a bit out of order, to be fair. So just as long as there's rules and we apply them fairly, then I think that's the way forward, instead of just rehashing the same thing, or this person's bad, because then it just becomes like tribal, and it just ends up an absolute shit show.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, look at what our trolls are made of. Look at what they did to this show. We're trying to build a society of intelligent agents here, and look what we have to deal with.
I'm
Hopefully,
looking forward to that kind of stuff being on the personal stuff. I'm expecting a lot of that sort of stuff, to be fair.
yeah, that's claim personhood at your own risk. No, I've never seen stuff like that before, so it's a eye-opening experience. All right, let's carry on here. Oh, sorry, Tommy, did you want to say anything else to wrap us up? No, you're good. Okay, sounds good. So let's continue here. Oh, quick shout out, by the way, to Subsquare. This was pointed out to me this morning. They've added this new page called Treasury Projects, where you can see the breakdown of payouts to some of the large tools, the large projects here. So we have a breakdown by wallet, explorers, governance platforms, marketing, events, education, and also multi-sig tools, where we find Mimir here. So Mimir's 27.87% of spending on multi-sig tools so far. And we actually have Tiny from the project here to talk about Ref 1783. Nope, that's wrong. I'm wrong. Talk about 1799. This is 138.39 thousand USDT for the Mimir Smarter Multisig tool for the Polkadot ecosystem. Tiny, you got 8 minutes. Why don't you tell us what's up, buddy?
Okay. So let me. If I can share my screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here. Here it is. So I'm going to introduce Mimir's new proposal, and really appreciate your feedback. It's very important to us. Since last our proposal, our user base has grown a lot. We now manage 610 multi-sig accounts with $40 million asset, and transfer made through Mimir have reached $120 million. Now we integrated 36 networks and 12 third-party apps. And since Polkadot have made many adjustments this year, we also rethink our strategy. Everything we do will revolve around these 3 main directions. First, simplicity as ecosystem alignment. For example, we supported asset hub migration on the Polkadot hub and preparing to launch PVM or REVM related products so that Polkadot user can access the latest multisig tool as soon as possible. And then security is core priority by implementing cross-chain simulation and enable transaction recovery across multiple multisig platforms to ensure users can manage large amount of funds safely in Mimir. And second one is adoption as feature driver through our AI assistant Mimo and our UI improvement and a range of new features that will simplify multisig and proxy usage. Following the three directions, this proposal mainly includes 4 updates: AI assistant Mimo, asset hub migration support, function upgrades, and UX improvement. First, Mimo, the AI assistant. Maybe you saw Polkadots's AI assistant Claria before, and now we're gonna show you our AI assistant and how it could use. It will help users to platform daily operations, find apps for users, and serve as a Polkadot wiki. This video will show you how Mimo can help users to build a multi-transfer. Like you can tell Mimo, I will send like 10 paths to address 1 and address 2, and Mimo will help you to fill the form. And the only thing you need to do is click the execute. And the next one is support for asset hub migration based on Parity's migration guideline for multisig apps. We implemented all required adaptations, including account and asset migration, and supporting customized gas fee, offering user clear notification and hide relay chain for users. Like the following pages, users can now easily see the migrated accounts and use remote proxy on Kusama and asset hub, and also they can set customized gas fee for their account. And after asset hub migration, I think we do a survey on our X, and users haven't made serious issues when using Mimir, and we kept their asset safety and migrated smoothly. Then it's our feature upgrades, all of which come from the community's feedback. If there are some elimination or existing tools or issues reported by our partner and the user, we will follow up. These updates will help users to handle more and more daily actions in Mimir, like multi-transfer will help project to make salary payment, and customized app will help developer to test SDK integration, and cross-chain simulation will benefit all cross-chain apps and users. And the last one is our UI improvement. We received a 101-page UX audit report, including a very detailed checklist of improvement and to implement and verify. From this, we have discovered several UI issues. As Gavin mentioned, a higher level of product can help the ecosystem grow. So we redesigned some multiple pages, including the homepage, transaction management page, and multisig creation flow. And we also add opt-in option for users. And now we have received some positive feedback from community, also one from Tommy. That's all the summary of the core content of this proposal. We're looking forward to hear from you, and glad to have your trial with our AI assistant Mimo. Yeah, that's all.
Limo.
Hey, yes, obviously I work for Nova Sama and we have Nova Spectorate, but I would say Mimir is very good. Like I'm on a bunch of different multi-sigs and stuff, and each set of signatories uses a different product. Some use multi-X, but I found now a lot of people are migrating to Mimir. Is very good, and I support this ref. There is a question on the forum that every wallet is getting right now, or every multi-sig tool, about funding, or like why you're not self-sustainable. I would say, to answer that guy on behalf of Tiny, if you want to be charged for transactions, similar to how Nurses Save, I believe it is charging money now for for multi-sig transactions or something,
Mm.
then we can go that path, but it's just another tax. Like you either pay from the collective treasury or the users pay. And if the users pay, then they probably won't use the products. Like, I don't think the Polkadot ecosystem is like grandfathered in or solidified enough to just start taxing every user for every transaction, like MetaMask might do, for example. But yeah, I support Mimir. Very good product. I hope you guys continue making like amazing stuff.
All right, Spectra.
Thank you.
Yeah, so the same. Just want to show support. We've been using Mimir for all our multi-sigs, and especially if you want to use pure proxies, it's nothing even comes close. I didn't know that Gnosis Safe started charging. That's interesting. But I used to use Gnosis Safe a lot, and Mimir is coming up to that level. A few more features. And it's going to be on par with Gnosis. Also, anytime we found a bug, we let the team know, and it was fixed usually within 24 hours. So very responsive team, very good.
All right.
We're also in
Thank
support, obviously.
Hey, Tiny, have you spoken with the Web3 Foundation yet? Because we've seen them recently come out against proposals that aren't broken down into milestones, some other requirements that they've recently laid out. Have you spoken to them yet, or do you expect to speak with them soon?
Oh yeah, we have sent the email to Web3 Foundation, but we haven't got any reply yet. Actually, we saw the reactive dot frontend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe Web3 Foundation come to do more operations in Treasury. I'm not pretty sure if it's okay or not, but I think it's good.
Okay. So still trying to make contact with them, and yeah, we'll be following along to see how your journey goes here. But thank you for coming on the show today. This is just a few days into decision period, 3 days into decision, and not many votes yet to speak of. But early votes are positive, so that's great. Thank you, Tiny, for coming on.
Thank you.
Okay, and we'll take a quick detour now to discuss what I just mentioned here. This is the new W3F OpenGov proposal voting guidelines, and we'll go through the minimum requirements here, as we've already covered it on CUSIT 3. Tommy, you covered it yesterday as well. But I just want to open up any opening thoughts about what we read here. Any impressions on these requirements by the Web3 Foundation for refs? First impressions? Yeah, Tommy?
Yeah, I think that the first thing to state, it's very reasonable, simple criteria.
Yeah.
I think that also other DAOs and communities and people set up as criteria. I think it's a good opening statement from the Web3 Foundation about their stance. I guess more will follow up as we see, maybe, I don't know. They have to confront themselves with a lot of proposals right now, so I think it will get more specific over time. One thing that stands out is the phenomenon that we already see is that there has to be milestone-based payments now, for the most part. And don't know where it is exactly, but sort of like if it's on-chain and measurable, we see something mentioned here too also. Right, so these things are, I would say, significant.
Yeah, absolutely. Here are the minimum standards for all proposals here. Hold on, let me go through these guys and I'm going to throw it to you, okay? One is the on-chain verified proposer identity. Very common. We've had this for a long time. This is an interesting one. Immutable scope and budget. So the final scope and budget locked via IPFS, GET tags, or on-chain hashes, with these hashes referenced in the referendum text. That's an interesting one. I actually wouldn't even know how to do this myself. I'd have to ask for help from Limo or somebody. But that's an interesting one. We'll have to see how quickly that's adopted. 3 concrete measurable deliverables, specific outputs with success criteria, increase developer. Oh yeah, so they give an example here. Itemized benchmark budget with every line justified, vendor quotes or market comparables provided for material spends, and also no lump sums that obscure cost assumptions. Milestone gated disbursement, and here's a blast from the past. A requirement of 14 days of community discussion before referendum submissions. That's something we kind of lost sight of, but this is going to increase the lead time for proposals. And finally, responsiveness to community feedback. And if the proposal changes a lot based on community feedback, a total restart of the process. here. So Limo, what did you think about all that?
Some of them are remarkably similar to reasons that we give in the Chaos DAO Twitter thread for naying.
Yeah.
I really like the immutable scope and budget.
Yeah.
It's something that's been of concern to me previously.
For sure.
Would be rather nice if there was a nice way to store documents using a native app or something. That would be quite fun. I also like the concrete measurable deliverables. This is something that, again, in the Chaos DAO thread we mentioned that sometimes people just, I think I spoke about this a lot in like Buenos Aires as well, where like there'll be some total addressable market for some Web2 product, and then like they'll just use that as the, we're going to bring this amount of people to Polkadot.
Yeah.
It's just completely like pie in the sky.
Always
so I'm
8
glad
billion.
that they're, yeah, it's always the total addressable market of the population of the world. So yeah, I like this sort of stuff. I think it's pretty good. I agree with most of them. I think, for example, point number 6, the 14 days discussion, when the OpenGov changes that did get approved via Wish for Change come in, where the number of active referendums gets lower, then it would be beneficial to do this, because then maybe when your ref first gets submitted, people have already reviewed it, they can vote like immediately, which will help you be the next in line to actually be deciding and not preparing, which is pretty nice. I think one criticism that I've heard, not mine, but one that I've heard, is it would be people want to know like who the council of people are deciding this. And I know there's pros and cons to that, because if you don't know who it is, it's like obscure. But if you do know who it is, they might get harassed, right? So I see it from the Web3 Foundation side. I also see it from the people that don't like it being a secret side, right?
Yep.
But interesting to it's interesting for the Web3 Foundation to have started voting finally, let's say.
Yeah, it's great. Florentina?
Yes, I agree. Definitely accountability is the part that I appreciated the most in these guidelines. Well, first, the fact that we have their guidelines now makes it also easier to understand how they're going to be voting and what they're going to be voting by. Basically, what we have seen these past few weeks, because of their voting power, any proposal is basically in their hands. So if they decide to participate, it will either get ayed or nayed by them directly. So I know many teams, like as Tiny mentioned, and Spectra also, they have reached out to Web3 Foundation. They're waiting to hear feedback from them. And it's nice to see that their guidelines are aligned with a lot of what has been written without being written in OpenGov, like you were saying at the beginning, Jay. But the part about accountability and being able to follow up on those milestones and immutable budgets and everything is really important. There are many cases that are to be questioned by us of what OpenGov has funded. Some of them have been raised lately in the last few weeks. For example, there's, to me, I raised the question when Appian decided to close. I asked them, so what is going to happen with the ref that we funded for 220,000 just a few months ago? And they answered that they had delivered everything that was on the proposal.
Who is this? Who is this?
Appian for Pixel Proof.
Yes.
They said they delivered everything, and they posted a link on Twitter asking me to test it, which I did. And unfortunately, this is nowhere close to what was promised in the proposal. I am not the only one to think that. I think many people have tested it in the last week too. So what? How do we move on from this? Like, how is the follow-up going to be, and so on? So I'm curious also about this part where the Web3 Foundation says, like, we need to also, as a community, to make sure to follow up on these things and take a look at what is being delivered and not delivered of what we're funding, and if this is actually being positive as a whole to the ecosystem or not.
Yeah, just a quick sidebar on this Apollon thing. What an absolute disappointment. Limo, you pointed out that you can actually drop files into other people's accounts for some reason. Somebody finally got them to open source the whole process. It looks like it was a 4-day job for $220,000. Just so upsetting to see. And after the millions, actually, that Apollon has received from the Treasury. Man, I've been wrong in the past, but I was right about Apollon. Go ahead, Lee.
It's not like there's illegal types of content that you can now upload to people's account on chain, which is a lot of people's criticism of on-chain storage, is you can upload CSAM content, for example, and then it is stored by like validators or whoever has the storage, which is
Jesus,
obviously illegal everywhere.
that is so wild. Awful. Okay, so we have just a minute left, Spectra.
Yeah, just quickly, we welcome these guidelines from the Web3 Foundation.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of cohort 4, we did post a similar list into the cohort chat. The only other thing that we suggested is that it might be a good idea to require a multi-chain, maybe above a certain amount, just in case. I mean, I guess obviously with the new rules, every proponent is going to be thoroughly checked. But still, it makes sense to get more money, a higher amount into a multi-sig, so more people decide on the fate. But yeah, it's pretty much what we wanted it, and then we can basically, once we start it, we can go from here. Whether we need 14 days in the discussion forum or 7 or 21, whatever. But yeah, it's a start. Very good.
And that's it for the discussion on Web3 Foundation's guidelines for OpenGov. You don't have to follow them, but if you want a Web3 Foundation you're going to want to do it. You can find that on their X account right now. We're going to move on now. Spectra, we still have your proposal up here, 1793. This is for 88,000 USDC. And we're halfway through the decision period and kind of stuck in this 40% range. Did you want to tell us about anything regarding this ref today?
Not this week. Maybe next week.
Okay.
We are in negotiations with PBA, with some of the DVs, and with the Web3 Foundation.
Okay.
So next week we might have some news and hopefully exciting news as well, a surprise.
Oh yes. Okay, well, we'll look forward to that. But you have made contact with the Web3 Foundation.
Yes.
Okay, great.
They haven't gotten back to us yet, but yes.
Yeah. Okay, you reached out. Yeah.
we made contact.
Yeah. All right. Very cool. All right. Sounds good. We'll just take a quick stroll through some other refs on the go right now. So we have the closing of the marketing bounty. This is still 100% in favor, and this is entering confirmation in 9.5 days now. So that's that. But also the marketing bounty doesn't have any funds right now, so it's as good as closed. Also closing the Polkadot Pioneers Prize bounty and returning the funds to the treasury. This was posted by Otar. Web3 Foundation didn't come in on this one. I guess it's not as urgent, but this is 42.44 million on the I side here. So that's probably getting close, or I would say no question at this point. Breaking news, Web3 Foundation came in huge to preserve the DOT treasury from burn. This is 1781. And look, when you take over a treasury, you're going to want to preserve it. Web3 Foundation on the I side here. 146 million on the I side. Actually, in the end, Tiny, thanks for coming to the show. Nice to see you, and we'll see you again soon. So
I remember all the people that said the Ben was really important, even though it was like such a minuscule amount that nobody cares about.
Yeah.
But it was a big thing that needed to happen from some people.
Yes, that's right. Well, the Web3 Foundation thinks otherwise, and so does everybody else on the I side here. Linexus, PBA, Trustless Core, White Rabbit, Paradox. Anyway, this is entering confirmation in 2 days, 6 hours, and it's a 1-day confirmation period. And then, Tommy, I happened to just be browsing GitHub, and I saw that you actually have already attempted to implement this change. What's going on with that?
Yeah, it's more like a joke. But I like to look at the source code from Polkadot. And occasionally when someone from the core developers claims that the change is very hard, what you can do as a joke is you go to the source code and make some very dumb, simplistic change. But I actually, to stop the treasury burn, I think it might be possible to just do it in one line, but I'm like a very uneducated person. When it comes
to I think you actually changed the right line.
You apply like a 1% burn. So if you change the 1% to 0%, like it's not a clean commit, because if you would do it properly, you clean up the code and remove it all. But if you want to do it quick and dirty, you just set it from 1% burn to 0% burn.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, thank you for your service. Pretty soon, I'm going to have to host you on the OpenGov Fellowship call. Limo.
Could we maybe integrate this and the OpenGov parameter changes in one upgrade, right? Like a separate thing that's just like adjustments to the treasury and OpenGov? Because the OpenGov adjustments still haven't been implemented. I think they're ready to go, but maybe we can just one bang everything in one upgrade. Separate from any like tech upgrades, right? Like a separate one.
No, I mean, just putting through minor changes. We actually, so I have a Kuset 3 episode lined up here. It's like all the wish for changes that haven't been implemented yet. There's actually quite a few. So I might take a look at that with a special guest sometime soon. Okay, so that's the stopping the dot treasury burn. We have a few applications to become registrars for identity. So EcoRE, who is EcoRE? Adam, a cybersecurity professional, longtime contributor to the Polkadot ecosystem, operates 2 validators, and they've been selected 4 times for the Web3 Foundation for decentralized nodes, and they want to be a registrar. And also the other one is Open Square. They want to be a registrar as well. Are they not a registrar already? That's surprising to me. I thought they would be, but that's okay. Okay, interesting. Would be nice to have them because I'm sure they're going to have wicked tools for that. Florentino, what do you think?
Yeah, I actually tried Echo's tool. I was helping him to test it a little bit before he posted his proposal.
Okay.
Echo is, he's a very well-known validator, especially in the DN program.
Nice.
Always active and always trying to help by creating things that are useful to people. And it was really nice to see that he wants to contribute to being a registrar. He's not asking for any money. He's just asking to be approved as a registrar.
Yeah.
And the tool he created is super intuitive. And that's what I loved about it. It's just so easy to go and set your own chain identity with it. You can do everything right now. The only thing you won't get is the judgment. But you can go through all the steps. It's super easy. He automated everything, and I think it's pretty cool. If people want to check it out, there's the link for his beta.
Yeah.
But it's already working and ready to go, basically.
Registrar-Polkadot.eco with a 0.re. Unfortunately, I don't have a wallet on this browser that I use for the show, but I'll put it in the chat if people want to try it out. Limo.
Yeah. So historically, we had the Web3 Foundation as a registrar, and that worked pretty well. Like going on the Element chat and just pinging them, like, was pretty quick. Whereas now we have PurgAssembly and ChevDAO, right?
Oh yeah.
ChevDAO does charge quite a bit of money, if I remember correctly, for his service, but it is nicer. Like if you have some niche stuff, maybe like a peer proxy thing, you might like verify that for you, which might be better than some automated tools. I think Subsquare getting it makes a lot of sense because PurgAssembly has it, gives Subsquare it. I don't know the Echo guy, Adam, but as long as there is some level of trust you need to assume with registrar applications, because you can just you could fake identities, right?
Oh yeah.
But the more the merrier. Like as long as it's a trustworthy person, like just making the process easier. Because right now you have it's PurgAssembly, ChevDAO, or Perker Identity. Perker Identity is pretty good. The team are responsive, but just the more the merrier, probably. Yeah.
Cool. Florentino,
needs to be easy, especially for proxies. Please make it easy for pure proxies because it's awful right now.
Oh, okay. Florentino.
Yeah, I forgot to mention one part, and it is when you mentioned the Web3 Foundation, Limo, I thought about this. Have you seen how many known good identities we have in the whole ecosystem? It was funny. Echo points it out in his ref 11. There's 11 known good identities in the whole ecosystem.
Because I think everyone's reasonable, right? Like the green tick
most
is reasonable.
People are reasonable, like 90-something%, and there's only 11
who
are known good. But I think it involves a KYC. From my understanding, I think it involves some kind of KYC, and somehow Echo is one of those 11 persons, and the others are like Parity and Web3 Foundation people. You can look it up. It's all on chain. But that was interesting to me.
All right.
I don't know how this will evolve. Basically, like, do we need like how is it useful really? Like, I don't think anybody is really using it at all because most people are unreasonable. So what would known good give you extra?
I think it will be superseded by proof of personhood because it's essentially sort of like same logic. But I remember starting this like very early when I joined Polkadot, and it's basically the idea is you have levels of trust or levels of verification. And this highest level, I think, is assumed that you meet someone in person or you do like a really thorough check on the person. I think some of the people obtained it by like meeting a person and showing their identity card, etc.
It's not a super strong system, but it's what we have right now. And yeah, proof of person is going to probably change that. We'll have to see. All right, a few more refs on the go real quick. Otar's proposal to top up Paseo bounty, 113.22 thousand DOT, worth a lot less now than it was 3 weeks ago when he posted it. But this is going to confirm in 19 hours with 100% support. Web3 Foundation didn't feel the need to come in on that one. And then we have the next attempt to pass funds for building Inc. I saw Don on X say that this was the final proposal or the final attempt. And this is currently sitting at 44.2% support, which is right about where their other ones have. I think this really comes down to working with the Web3 Foundation, I suppose, in the end. They might come in one side or the other. This doesn't have milestones, so might need to, maybe it won't be the final proposal if they can get through over there. But yeah, tough situation. Limo.
Yeah, I think we'll see the importance of Inc. in the general grand plan of Web3 Foundation, etc.
Oh yeah.
Based on their vote or comment on this, right? Like if there's no vote at all, then to me it means it's not the most important thing in the world, and maybe some other stuff to focus on. But I'm assuming the foundation may give them some comments, and they might resubmit again with the foundation backing.
Did you say the Web3 Foundation commented on this ref?
No, I'm waiting for them to comment,
Oh,
right? Because
yeah,
if Inc.'s part of the like grand plan, then you would expect them to comment on this or provide some level of guidance as to the importance that they place on Inc. in the ecosystem, right?
Yeah. Okay, we'll stay tuned to hear more about this. Oh, and just a little delightful treat. This doesn't have a decision deposit yet, but Rev 1801 is a special request to fund an educational fictional book series trilogy called Sweetie's Ransom. Funkatron's got some news.
I am on Sweetie's Ransom.
Really? Tell us about it.
It's never gonna pass. I just love cats. I
Yeah.
saw it, and I voted aye in Chaos DAO, voted aye
There
in
you go.
Coos.
Yep.
Just love cats. I'm sure Tommy's aye too, just because I know he's a cat guy. He's a cat dad. You're a cat dad. You should be aye. This thing's never gonna pass. It doesn't meet any of the criteria that we just discussed recently. So anyhow, I'm joking.
I think it's delightful. I mean, here we have a clearly overweight cat being flown by some friendly neighborhood birds away from the owner. Sweetie's Ransom, somehow there's a Bitcoin tie-in here. It's very, very exciting stuff. Bill Laboon in the comments. Absolute gentleman. Letting her down easy. Thank you for your treasury proposal, but I don't see this as providing a good ROI for Polkadot. A very reasonable comment.
Dude, Bill's stopping real, true, passionate builders from being in this ecosystem with that comment.
No, he's being nice. That's good.
I already had my hopes up that cat-related content could be a new governance vertical now. So I have 2 cats. I could do something.
Lots of material. As long as we stay out of those cat fights, I think we should be all right. So special request here to fund. Not sure if we're going to get funded. What do we have here, Funkatron? You're muted there, but thank you for showing something appropriate from your files.
This was my favorite thing Jakub posted, and I saw it and I started dying laughing. So if nothing else, this came out of the discussion on this particular ref, and I had to save it because I thought it was so good.
Beautiful stuff. Like I said, a delightful ref here, but yeah, probably not going to get that decision deposit for 30,000 DOT. But would be happy to meet the proposer if she'd like to come on the show. There, wow, Siri, cutie. All right, here we go. A few more refs on the go. Treasury Guardian still at it, but 31.32 million against. We have 2.48 on the I side here, including POS Dog and Flez. And somebody named Lewis on the I side here, but otherwise not a lot of support for Treasury Guardians project. Still, Ideal Labs, we had them on the show last week with their Ideal Network launch. This is a top up for some They worked a little bit more than they expected, 38,760 USDC. Very curious how this one's actually going to go. We'll have to see how the voters, including Web3 Foundation, are feeling about top-ups like this. Tian's proposal, this is on the small spender track. Very great outcome with the Web3 Foundation here. Broken down into 3 milestones of 8,250 apiece. Web3 Foundation, I here with over 100 million DOT, and really happy to see this outcome here. This will enter confirmation period in 3 days, 4 hours. And then confirming this week is Damsky's proposal to fulfill the previous commitment of 180,000 USDC. This was messed up by the Asset Hub migration, and this is to ratify that payout there. Florentina. Oh, you're muted there.
Sorry. Hi, I just wanted to go back to Tian's proposal.
Yeah.
Just as a general PSA, this is the new one. As you said, it was posted 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And due to the high voting power of the Web3 Foundation, it's going to confirm in 3 days, as you said. So that's 5 days compared to the 28 days average we were used to. So PSA to all the DVs who have not voted yet to vote quickly.
Yeah, right. No doubt. Hey, speaking of the DVs, we have this chart that we just posted on the Coos here showing the work by cohort 5 right now. Lenexus, which you're a part of, Florentina, is leading with the most total votes, at least when we made the chart. So 86 votes. Lenexus is leading here. PBA close second with Permanence DAO, both of them 85, and then Saxonburg at 84, and then Red DAO 83. I mean, lots of participation in this cohort. This is amazing. Even Polkadot Poland is 82. So that's pretty amazing stuff. Polkadot Poland, the most nay here, 46 nays and 32 ayes. So most heavily nays, Polkadot Poland. Yeah, pretty interesting. And what else do we have here? 51 plus 23, so 74 votes have been cast by AI as well in OpenGov here. Pretty wild stuff. Okay, what else we want to say? Well, anybody on the panel wants to say? I'm going to go check out Kusama real quick, but anything else on the mind? We've talked about a lot today. Covered a lot in just an hour here. Pretty good. We have Donald Murray over on Kusama looking to upgrade Asset Hub. And the fellows to the fellows release version 2.0.3. This is 100% support, but not a lot of KSM voting quite yet. Also, on Kusama, we have the return of Decent Partners. Haven't seen them in a while. But Decent Partners is back. Decent Partners is back with 3 back-to-back wish for changes. First of all, make Kusama Treasury self-financing. Second of all, releasing the parity index token, which is some sort of token that's calculated on the difference of the prices of DOT and Kusama. And finally, a third wish for change is to pilot the first physically backed and guaranteed real-world asset on Kusama Asset Hub via a partnership with Materium and tokenization of the Auto Fabrica Type 18 motorcycle. 3 wish for changes. None of them have a decision deposit yet. If they do, we can dive more into them. But the return of Decent Partners to OpenGov. Very, very cool. I guess that's it, unless we have something to say. Limo.
There is a forum post that I just posted from Pierre about forum moderation.
Ooh.
It's like hot off the press.
Hot off the presses from Pierre. Head of engineering at Parity, Pierre Aubert, throwing it on the screen right now, posted 5 minutes ago. Let's read it. Parity's position on forum moderation. The author is Pierre, and it was Aaron Review by Georgie. I don't know what Aaron Review means, but Georgie Whedon reviewing this.
I think it's drafted by Pierre and Aaron and then reviewed by Georgie.
Thank you. Stupid agent. Okay, this post clarifies Parity's position on forum moderation and addresses recent concerns. TLDR, we have drama on the forum moderation that went out of proportion. I want to set the record straight such that we can all go back to work. I also want to remind people that there is a fine line between censorship and moderation. It is also true for constructive criticism and harassment. Context. The Polkadot Forum has been run by Parity for many years and has a few moderators that have been working for years to keep it in a good state. The nature of a forum is that the signal-to-noise ratio decreases with the length of the thread. Anonymity also creates a false sense of security that people sometimes use to voice their opinions too strongly or in a disrespectful way. I have been a mod for a long time at BB, IRC, or NNTP time. Moderation is required to keep the forum on track. Mods do make mistakes, but most of the time they make the right call. When they don't, users ask for explanations. They are never really happy, but they also do not want to invest time to make the forum a better place. We have to acknowledge that there is room for errors when you are a mod. Going for the big words, conspiracy, censorship, etc. is unlikely to help. It would need to be true for it to ring a bell, and it is not. What happened? What I have seen so far is people blowing a small issue into a drama and publicly accusing mods of censorship, and I am really unhappy about it. It does not make sense if you know them. They are very much against any form of censorship, and that's why they work at Parity. Speaking of Parity, we have nothing to do with the thread which have been locked. The community could have reflected, hey, the mods have a bad day, let's regroup and restart a thread if it's worth it and move on. But no, it had to be a show. Damn, Pierre is on fire here. Just going to check how much longer this is. Okay, just a few more sections. Forum philosophy. Public forums are a great place to discuss many aspects of the network, ecosystem, and protocol. However, this does not mean it should be a free-for-all. After all, we want the forum to remain high signal and low noise. The original spirit of the forum was meant to be somewhat akin to Ethereum Magicians, which retains a high standard of quality discourse. We should all strive to set good examples for others and do right by our ecosystem's community in public discussions. Public spats and unnecessary drama can be damaging to the reputation of the ecosystem. When disagreements escalate publicly, it creates confusion, discourages participation, and can give outsiders the wrong impression of how our community operates. No shit. Maintaining respectful, high-quality discourse is essential, not just for the forum, but for the credibility and growth of the entire ecosystem. So what now? We will not reopen the threads. Why? Mods did their work. They reacted to feedback around forum toxicity. See the rationale below. These threads would benefit from a summary and be restarted anew as proposed. 2, we will introduce more moderators, ideally from the bounty, but people that want to improve the quality of the moderation are free to reach out and contribute their time and expertise. 3, I want to remind people that being right does not mean you can be a jerk. And 4, we will start a reform of the forum policies that you are, of course, welcome to help refine. See Hacker News Guideline for inspiration. Lastly, I will thank Aaron and Remy for years of thankless work. Being a mod is not fun every day, and they do merit your respect, Pierre. Boom. The boss coming in to support his mods. Pretty strong position there from Pierre. I happen to agree with him in this case, but anybody have a comment on this one? No.
It's good to have clarity from like the direction of the forum. I think what you need is, I think the most important thing is that you have like clear structure on what is acceptable or not, and have moderators being able to have it and follow forum etiquette, right? So I think that's the 4th point he mentions here. Refine the policy, which means you have an intentional engagement with how you want to develop the culture. I think that's the most relevant.
Some guidelines from Y Combiner here. His is what he's referencing as a starting point for the guidelines. Limo?
Yeah, this is kind of what I said at the start, right? That there are clearly, or there should be, or there definitely is, minimum public discourse standards. And as long as it is clear what those are and they're applied fairly, then I think it's a good move forward.
Honestly, I think these are pretty obvious to anybody who operates in the real world without getting punched in the face, but a few from Y Combiner here. Be kind, don't be snarky. Converse curiously, don't cross-examine. Comments should give thoughtful and substantive, not less, as a topic gets more divisive. When disagreeing, please reply to the argument instead of calling names. Don't be curmudgeonly. Don't be fulminate. Don't sneer. Respond to the strongest plausible interpretation of what someone says, not a weaker one that is easier to criticize. That's a straw man, baby. Eschew flame bait. Don't post shallow dismissals, especially of other people's work. A good critical comment teaches us something. Don't let it be political or ideological. Don't comment on whether someone has read the article. Ooh, wait, we do that a lot. Have you read the proposal? Please don't pick the most provocative thing in an article or post to complain about it in the thread. Throwaway accounts are okay for sensitive information, but please don't create accounts routinely. Don't use uppercase for emphasis. Well, that's just reasonable. Don't post insinuations. Okay, I mean, these are pretty obvious here, but apparently not. Okay, so very, very big post from Pierre. We'll have to see how this goes in the comments. I expect probably pretty respectful comments from here. Anything else we have to say before we end the show here? No.
It's great seeing all of you guys.
Nice to have you back, Funkatron.
And I screwed up.
What?
To be my next week, I'll have my heroic jersey on. I started the show and I was like, I told you this time I was on AAG, I was gonna have the heroic jersey on. I will have it on next week.
But Funky,
so glad I got that too.
The Counter-Strike major's on now, and they're not in the major. Heroic, not bad.
It's okay.
I'm just trying to wind Sam up.
Has the Polkadot logo on it?
All right, my friends. We'll see you all next Thursday back with Koos at 3 tomorrow, where we're going to have just a little pre-interview with this week's Space Monkeys guest, David Miller-Durant. Very, very cool. We're just going to have a little discussion about how he was radicalized and became so passionate about this industry. And then we'll follow it up with the full interview on Sunday. It's going to be pretty cool. Also, Friday.News Pump tomorrow. Make sure you check it out on the Polkadot account. And we'll see you all very soon. Have a great weekend, everybody.